I'm worried that it's not set on the video. Oh, it is. Okay. When I started, I didn't see the number going.
Oh, there you are.
I do need to check and make sure that you're in the right room because I understand that we had a little typo in our program. So what we're going to be offering here today is Stump the Presenters, and it sounds like this is going to be a highly interactive session. So, you know, this is sort of like when you get on a plane and they check to see if that's where you were going. I'm thinking, how could you get on the wrong plane with all the digital stuff they have going? Really, at times. Where'd you end up? What's not at any rate, I'm happy to welcome you here today. We have a couple of ladies who are just dynamic. If you don't believe it, let me just give you some information. Elaine Plybon was just recently named the Discovery Educator Guru. So, and Andrea is certainly no stranger to us here at Podstock as well. And Andrea not only is the TCEA Teacher of the Year, she is also on the short list, 20 to watch, for the National School Board Association as well. So I know that you're in for a real treat. I don't want to take up all of this time, so I'm going to turn it over to these ladies, and we'll break into lunch when we're finished here.
But I have to say something though. There's actually 2 20 educators to watch in this room right now.
Who's the other?
Greg, right here. He's another 20 to watch this year.
Three, Andrea.
Oh, that's right, Diane. Sorry, Diane. And of course, Diane Smokerowski.
How about this year, though? It's 2009.
What are the odds?
So there's 3 in here. Isn't that crazy?
Actually, the odds at Podstock are pretty good.
That's
Okay, so the instructions have been up here for a while, but I know y'all have been enjoying talking to each other and all that. What we'd like for you to do now, and there's many different ways you can do this. On any device that can get to the internet, you can just go to m.socrative.com and enter that room number up there. Or there are apps for Android or iOS, anything that you have. You can download apps. You can download a Socrative app. There are 2 Socrative apps. One is for students and one is for teachers. And today you would download the student one because you're our students. So I want you all to do that. Enter room 5129. And Andrea and I will be kind of like circulating around the room to assist.
You should have the loading button.
And it will just say you're loading, like you're waiting for an activity. And once everybody's up, or the majority of people are up. Also, I want to say, if you are having internet problems or didn't bring a device, if you didn't bring a device or you're having internet problems, find somebody who you can be their partner with so that you can participate in this activity as well. Oh, you have the camera? Okay. Anybody having trouble getting in? No? All right. So, our first activity is going to be a way for us to kind of get to know each other, but also for Andrea and I to get the conversation started in this room. So, what we're going to be doing here in just a couple moments, I am going to push a button that is going to randomly assign you all to groups. There will be 7 groups. You will not necessarily be in the same group with the people you're sitting at a table with. So you're going to take a quiz. What's the quiz type that kids always ask for? But they also always ask me for group quiz. Can you take a group quiz? They want to take group quizzes. We're going to let y'all take a group quiz. There's going to be 7 groups. You'll want to find your group. You will be assigned a color, so you'll have to find everybody else who is that color and sit at a table with them. And then you'll have to get to know them, which is the most awesome part of the deal. So I will go push the button. You guys will have a couple minutes to get to your groups and then start taking the quiz. Now, the cool thing about the quiz, and it's kind of in the spirit of the 80s, is it's going to look like a game. It's going to have little rockets going across the screen. You'll get to see your team's progress. And whichever team gets to the end first wins. But we're not going to tell you what you're going to win. All right, so I'm going to click next here. And you all should be starting to see what color your teams are. So try to get together with other members of your team. Red, purple, green. First green. Purple.
got red?
Yeah.
Red.
Purple. Green over here. What color?
We got red.
Purple. Okay, just yellow.
Yellow. What color is this?
Purple. Purple. All right.
Yellow. Red. 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 Right here. Take this one. Red. Red. All right. Come on over here, stranger.
Okay, Steve? Oh, yes. Okay. Will vote. Okay, answer the questions. The Commodores will actually get through. But it's also the Commodores versus the computer. Yep, I'm showing my child on it. Computer from the 80s. The Commodores. This is the Commodore 64. Is it group? Commodores were good. Yeah, what age man lost the grant for not singing the vocals on their album? Oh, no even know it. I like this game. This movie told the story of Marty McFly.
Back to the Future.
We all won. When girls say something disgusting, they say, "Get spoon."
But y'all won. I mean, you were the first one to cross.
Well, they started answering the question.
They started answering the question. Yeah. But you know what? We did not give good instructions, did we?
What instruction?
Maybe they were just told. Yeah. Anyway, it's still fun, right? Did you like the questions? What was your favorite question?
Nano, nano.
Commodores.
Okay, now see, this one here, yesterday, I had to tell her what a Commodore 64 was. Made me feel a little bit old, but it also made her feel very young. So I guess, it was a good deal. All right, so what we decided is the team that won this particular thing, which is the yellow team, is going to be the one that is responsible for starting the Stump the Presenter. But before you do that, we will introduce ourselves. My name is Elaine Plybon, and I am an instructional technology specialist for 2 high schools in a one-to-one district in Irving, Texas. We have been one-to-one for over 11 years, which makes us sort of an oddity, because most people are just now thinking about one-to-one, and we've been there for 11 years. Lots of really great things going on in my district, and as I said, I cover 2 different high schools with about 250 teachers total that I'm responsible for. I should switch. Can you switch the slide to, you're on single screen? Just go ahead and say slideshow and view at the beginning. No, where is your screen at? Just go to, it's in the screen. I'm sorry. Okay, I also.
I do know how you use word computer.
Yeah, she does sometimes, but not a Commodore 64.
Apparently.
It is just about, right? Okay, there's my little thing to help me remember things. I am a member of the Discovery Educator Network. Are there any other Discovery Educators in here? Of course, Dean, who is also a Dean guru, and another one. That's awesome. Andrea is also in the Discovery Educator Network, and we're headed to Montana next week for a big institute there. I am the co-founder of GOT, which is Girls of Technology. It was an organization we created in the academy that I work at to try to help our girls stay interested in STEM careers. We would have girls who would come into the school interested in STEM careers, but they would leave because guess what? There's not very many girls in their classes. So our hope was that just much as the whole Podstock experience builds community, we were hoping that having this organization would build community among those girls so that they knew that, yeah, I might be the only girl in this room, but there's another girl in the room next to me, and there's a couple more in the room next to me, next to that. And it has been wildly successful. We're trying to expand out into the lower grade level schools so that we can have feeders into that program. I also am a blogger. I'm the National Technology and Education blogger for the Examiner, and I maintain another slightly less professional blog called Cruel Shoes, which I aim at telling the truth about teaching so that people who are becoming disillusioned about it maybe can find some hope. People who are thinking about getting into it can know that it's not going to be easy, so that we're being real there. My website is down there at the bottom, and I will flash that up at the end again, and I'm going to hand this over to Andrea, and then I'll kind of explain the Stump to the Presenter thing.
And I have to say, I actually met Elaine because I stalked her, and I found her blog, and I found out that she was in Irving. So, now we're friends, and now we're spending a lot of time together this week.
And next.
I know, right? So I am Andrea Keller, and I teach children with disabilities in a self-contained classroom, K through 5. It's called a life classroom, living in a functional environment. And so my students have autism, have Down syndrome, have intellectual disability, and most of them are very low verbal and nonverbal. But what's really cool about my classroom, though, is I do some cool things. I get to do some fun things. So we have a blog that has been viewed by people all over the world. So my students that don't necessarily have a voice online. We video conference a lot. We actually video conference every Christmas for sure with Miss Smoke's class up here because she's awesome. So we do a lot of really cool things by modifying and adapting so my students that are low verbal and nonverbal can also participate in Web 2.0 technologies.
So, Stump the Presenter. Have any of you ever been in a Stump the Presenter session before? I'm not seeing any hands. I didn't really expect to. A couple years ago, I started getting the idea for Stump the Presenter because I was at a conference. I present at conferences a lot. And I was at a conference, and I was kind of tired of the topic that I was talking about, and I was wishing that I could just walk in there not knowing what I was going to talk about and let my audience tell me. And when I talked to people about that, they all thought I was stupid and crazy and all that. But when I talked to Andrea about it, she didn't think that was stupid and crazy. So we decided to try that out. And we actually did try it out at a TCEA function, and it went really well. So we decided to bring it here. What Stump the Presenter is you picking our brains. And that's not us saying that we are experts at everything. We are saying that we have a lot of experience over several years. Andrea has a lot of experience with iPads and iPad apps and special needs students in elementary. I have a lot of experience with secondary classrooms, science, anything that encompasses secondary. I have to be able to do that in the scope of my job. So over the years, there's lots of tools that we have learned about that maybe we don't even get to use in our classroom because it's just not a right fit for our classroom, that maybe it would be a right fit for you. So our idea is that you will give us a question. What kind of resource would you use for fill in the blank? We're mainly focused on web resources here. We could go into some educational philosophy, but that would take longer than an hour. So we're just kind of wanting this to be a quick, ask us a question. Andrea or I will come up with some resource for you. And if we don't, then you have stumped us. And that's the great part, is that I know that in this room, if Andrea and I don't know it, somebody in here, probably more than one person in here, does. And so you're welcome to share out. That's what we get out of being here is your sharing out. So, to get started, we are expecting the yellow table to converse for a little bit and come up with a topic that you would like for us to come up with a resource for.
Katie.
And the rest of y'all can get to know each other. Because we've moved you now.
Any topic.
I'm scared. Yes. Yeah, and some kind of resource you can need in the classroom.
School appropriate.
All y'all can.
Yeah.
In Wichita, minority.
Really?
Way designed.
Okay. And so what brings you to concept?
Oh, yeah.
What's your interest in it?
Way designed schools do it.
Okay,
What is
What is
we're
it
ready.
in the future?
That's such a good question. They're asking about a video editing tool that is not Movie Maker or iMovie.
Preferably online or
Preferably online, and I must say that I don't talk about tools that cost money. I don't know whether Andrea does, but I don't talk about tools that cost money. One of my biggest things is, if it's not free, I can find something that is. So I will talk to you about a couple of those. Do you have any?
Not for video editing, for video recording.
Video recording. Okay, the first thing that I have been messing around with just this last year, which has really turned into quite a functional tool, is YouTube. How many of you have edited videos on YouTube? Not a lot of you, but it's very functional. You can upload your video to YouTube, and there's a little edit button now that you can click, and you can clip, you can add music that YouTube already has made sure is copyright protected, which is really awesome, because we're trying to teach our students about copyright and being responsible people. So they've got all this music there that's already available to them to add to their video. I like using that. One of the others that I have used is JCut, but I hear that recently they started, they went away. I've just really been using the YouTube thing lately, for the most part. Did you have?
Well, and not necessarily for video editing, but for video recording on your computer, you can use Gene, which is done by TechSmith, and there is an iPad app for Screenshot and where's Paul when you need him?
You got Screen Chomp, Show Me,
Show me. That's what it's about.
Edge Creation.
Explain everything.
Yeah,
Which-
explain everything.
That actually brings to mind another one I use, which is Screencast-O-Matic. Have any of you heard of it?
Is there
Because Screencast-O-Matic, Screencast-O-Matic is actually a screen capture, but it also has a video editing feature to it. If you want the pro version of it, it's a whole $12 a year. It's not much. With the free version, you can use it to record as many videos as you want. It just won't store it for you. But it will let you upload that to YouTube, and then you could go on ahead and edit it there, or you can edit it in Screencast-O-Matic. But that's the one that I like to use for screen capture. Yes.
We video is something that's come out recently,
Yeah.
Is
I
that
don't know
what
if they-
platform is that?
web-based.
It is web-based. It's We Video.
I don't know if they do multiple.
It came out after JCut when
After a JCut went out.
when RMI bought JCut.
Yeah.
and
Now
dumped
see,
it.
that's one of the things that has been a little irritating for me, is that a lot of my free tools have either gone away or become not free anymore. So if I ever talk about anything that's the case, please let everybody know, because I don't want to be a person that's pushing something that is not valid anymore. Okay,
Yeah.
we are,
The other ones I know about are Video Toolbox, Criaza Education, Stroom, and Pixorial also does some editing.
And Paul over here actually does some awesome stuff with video editing, and he always has some great resources.
I'm going to also say that this link up here is my linkable, it's my social bookmarking site, so links that I have gathered that, once I put a link in this social bookmarking site, that means I've used it, or a teacher who works with me has used it, and it's the one that we've decided is the one we want to use. There's lots of different tabs on there that you'll want to look at, and there is a tab for Podstock, which we will be adding the things that we talk about today straight to that tab, so that you wouldn't have to sort through all the other things. But I have sections on there for video editing and media, and so you can feel free to sort through all of those. All right,
Magista. I forgot that.
Magista,
Magisto.
Magisto.
What's your favorite, Paul?
I actually don't want to do video editing. I want the kids just to make a quick and easy video and throw it up and publish it. And get them just making stuff and publishing, making, publishing. The really thing that I was more looking for was just to be able to put a couple of video clips together.
Right.
Which,
Not actually do editing. If we got to go editing, we video, or you got to go to iMovie or.
and that's the reason why I've leaned on YouTube over the last years, because it's funny, because I remember in education a few years ago, digital storytelling was all the rave, and you had to make it look professional. You had to spend an hour for every minute of video. But we've all kind of come full circle. where we realized that's not the point. The point isn't making it look completely professional. And nowadays, there's tools that can make it look pretty decent. But the YouTube video editor lets you cut and move things around and do that basic stuff. And that is what we've really found, is that the kids get way more engaged if we are not bogging them down with, okay, this has, you know, you have to spend an hour to edit this 2-minute video. Okay, next topic. Somebody else just want to shout out a topic.
Y'all were so excited when we first started.
Online reader's notebook.
Online reader's notebook. I'm going to give that to Andrea.
No, because I've been sending it to you. Zoho. I wanted you to
Oh,
Zoho.
Zoho. Okay, have you heard of Zoho Notebook? Does anybody use Zoho? Wow.
ZOHO.
Zoho?
ZOHO.
I will go there and drag this
Doesn't that
over.
be a great online reader's notebook where you can share information?
You can
and-
share all kinds of stuff. Oh, Zoho. I typed in the wrong address here. It's notebook.zoho.com. I got it backwards. All right. I use Zoho Notebook in my classroom. I get other teachers to use Zoho Notebook. Our school district has started being an online school district as well, and we use Zoho for a lot of things. Some of our students use them for portfolios. The really cool thing about Zoho Notebook, and I will say this though, it's a secondary thing, because you have to be 13 to sign up for an account with Zoho. So, you know, unless you've got some kind of other things going on that makes it okay for you to have kids use it. They can sign in though using their Google Apps account. So if you're a Google Apps district, they can just use that sign in instead of creating an account with Zoho. They can also use their just regular Google account, Yahoo, or Facebook, if you're a district that lets them do that. What Zoho Notebook does, and I'll just go ahead and get signed in here.
Well, while you sign in, Linda, what are you wanting to do with the online notebook? Like, tell us more about what you want to do with an online reader's notebook.
I should have specified elementary.
Right, that's fine, that's fine. That's okay.
A section for what I'm reading, what I've read, genre, then a section for reader response letters, my connections to the book, text to text, text to self, text to world, whether I like it or not, character analysis. Also another section for reading groups, reading, like all people reading the same book, and discussion, maybe a platform to have an online discussion between the members of that particular book group.
I use Edmodo for
I was like, Edmodo might be a good thing to use for that. Kidblogs, kidblog.org is a kid blog area that might be another way that we could look at that, where the kids could respond to, well, just like blogging, you can respond online.
Okay, Zoho Notebook is I really like this tool. I've used it for basic things such as a vocabulary notebook for my kids, and I've used it for them to create multimedia pages with video and audio. I mean, you can use it for so many different things. It is set up like a notebook. Each tab up at the top is like a chapter, and each tab on the side is like a page within that chapter. So they can have as many chapters as they want, as many pages within that chapter as they want. Our online biology class uses a Zoho Notebook as their science notebook, so that they can keep track of all the labs they did, all the research they've done. They can just have it all in one place. It's very simple and easy to use, and I won't go over a whole lot of it, but you'll find a link on my webpage to a quick tutorial video. But I just want to show you some of the really cool things that it can do. If I want to add video straight into my notebook, I have the choice of either embedding a YouTube video or something that has an embed code, or I can just click the record tab, and it's going to start up my camera. And of course, we're on this slow internet right now. I'm going to allow it. And it's going to take a while. And it's just going to record it straight into my page, and it's going to put that right in. I can just sit there and talk to the camera and say whatever it is I'm going to say, and then I can, I didn't say record first. And I'm not going to on that one right now. But it will just embed right into the page. Another really cool thing is that Add Audio has that same sort of a feature where I can tell it that I want to go ahead and start recording audio, so they could make a little podcast over their little picture that they've drawn or something like that. But isn't this cool? See what it's doing while I'm talking? The science teacher in me thinks that's an awesome way for my kids to start understanding sound and waves, and I can start talking to them about that even as I'm speaking to them in front of my class. So Zoho Notebook, as I said, I'm not going to go into everything it does, but it does a lot of different things. Yes?
seeing got at the beginning where it said Adobe Flash Player, can't do this then on an iPad?
Right, it uses Flash
However,
for
Can
some
you do it
things.
through Rover?
well, I don't know about Rover, because I've only done a little bit on Rover. Puffin browser is another cool browser you can download for the iPad. Another idea that you might be able to use for Readers Theater in elementary school is, gosh, what's that called, where you put the video in and people respond along the side.
Voice thread.
Voice thread, thank you, voice thread. So you can have one page would be the character, one page would be your discussion, one page would be the setting, and the kids could go in and respond, however, be it writing, video, or drawing to those different activities. Like I said, you could do a blog and have different blogs set up for, which might have cumbersome though if you have lots of different discussions going on. Yes?
Anything like that online that works for kids under 13?
Well, VoiceThread is one. You can do.
There's an edgy version of
There's
VoiceThread.
an edgy version of VoiceThread. As I said, Kid Blog is another really safe environment, and Moto, you don't have to be 13 yet. And Moto's in
You could, because it's the teacher that owns it.
right, right.
Does it have that notebook look to it, that tab and page, and you can do the separate?
And Moto almost looks like a Facebook page.
Another one that kind of does the same thing as Edmodo
I was just going to mention EPAL.
Oh yeah, ePals, yes.
is Schoology.
Right.
And Schoology has also additional features in it, such as a grade book and testing capabilities and things like that. But if you're logged into it, I'll see if I can remember my login on that since it's spring, since I logged into it. But it looks just like the old style Facebook page.
Yeah, 13 for me.
So it looks like a Facebook page. You've got your feed going on in the middle. If I had things set up so that this is a classroom, I could have assignments for my kids to automatically see what's going on there. So it could be like a content management system, as well as that place where they could have their discussions going on in the middle. They could also, every time they log in, know what assignments are due. They can click on it, find out information about it. And one of the cool features about Schoology right now is that you can actually go in and import you can link to all of your Google Docs. You can go in a place and you can look at all your Google Drive through Schoology. So you're not having to open up this window and get the link and go open up this window and put it in. You can actually do that all through Schoology. So that's another
Made that happen in June.
Did they?
Awesome, awesome.
All right, another topic.
Can they submit assignments on this?
Yes, they can turn in assignments here. You just, once you set up an assignment, you tell it whether or not you want to have I don't think it's called a Dropbox, but whether or not you want them to be submitting it through there. And if they do submit it, that assignment goes away over here, so that each individual student, when they log in, knows what they still need to accomplish. So if they've turned it in, it leaves their list, so that they know they've done it.
I'm looking for something using an IO device, whether it be the iPad or my phone, where if I want to take a photo, I walk in the classroom as a principal, take a photo of my class, and have it uploaded to my web page. Or take a video of kids doing something and upload it without having to go through 5 or 6 different programs. I know I can post it on Facebook, but Facebook looks blocked. I want something that can, quick, fast, simple, 3-minute walkthrough, take a photo, upload it right to my page.
Do you use Twitter?
Yeah, but you can't do the video and some of that kind of stuff that I'm wanting to do with it. I can post.
You can do videos. Because we actually did a little video talking about this coming up here. Whenever you read the video, you can post it, as long as it's not too long.
But if I take a video, it's in my iPhoto, then I can't post it to Twitter. I've got to go through
And you're talking about posting it straight to a web page of your own?
to a URL in.
Blogger?
Maybe possibly.
Yeah, but those are that, I'm looking for the program itself that I can, like, if I videotape, I go to photos on here. And if I go to upload, I can send it to Twitter, I can send it to email,
Well,
but that's not
Yeah.
a way of
One of the
posting.
things that I do, and I don't know if this will work for you or not, because I spend a lot of time in classrooms observing teachers, and I use Evernote. I don't know if you've heard of it, but I use Evernote on my iPad because I can be making notes about what I'm seeing. but then I can take pictures that'll automatically be thrown straight into those notes. So I've got it all in one place. So I can actually share just that page with the teacher so that they know what it is that I
Can you
observed.
take a photo within Evernote?
Yes,
Can you take video within Evernote?
yes. Next topic.
About photo editing.
Ooh, you said you had some of those.
The photo editing.
Got a bunch of those.
I know. I'm like, oh my gosh. Well, they discount with the picnic flats of, Pixay.
Pixlr integrates with Google Docs. Really good. Yeah, Pixlr.
Well, she's pulling that up. There's one that I use that I like if you're wanting to do some effects and some like green screen kind of stuff and things like that. And it's called Photo Flexor, F-O-T-O-F-L-E-X-O-R, I believe. And I like it if I'm doing something big with it, like I'm wanting to actually do some effects, or like I said, the green screen thing is pretty easy to use on it.
Yes.
Is that
Oh, that's
something for
Oh, and
computers?
Android.
Yeah. It'll integrate with Google Docs, and you can just right click on an image and launch the editor.
And we also use Sumo Paint a lot, which is a free program that my kids can either draw in, or you can upload photos and edit them also.
And that's the nice thing about Sumo Paint is that some of your students need to be taking pictures or want to be taking pictures. And it's something that we just have recently discovered that not all students want to, I mean, I don't know why it took us so long to figure it out, but they don't all want to do that. We always thought taking pictures was the easier way for them, but we have a lot of students that are very creative and would prefer to draw. So Sumo Paint's a cool thing because you can tell them it's your choice, but we're still using the same thing.
SUMO?
Yes.
Yeah, S-U-M-O Paint.
And sometimes it does take a little bit longer to, it is one website that I do have a little bit of problems getting uploaded, but once I get there, it's fantastic. My kids love to use it.
Done yet?
Done that.
Once you use like that Pixlr, can you save your edited picture, then can you use it?
You can download it back to your computer.
And then you just download it as your saved item and then just drop it in.
And I've seen some incredible stuff that students have drawn into Sumo Paint. Right here.
What was that photo one you talked about?
Photo Flexor. It's F-O-T-O-F-L-E-X-E-R.com. Flexor.
No pressure. One that's two screens. I'm like,
It's really, really simple to use, and it's also very easy for you to just pull it up from wherever it is that you commonly send it to. Because I know when I take pictures, I have a lot of them just automatically go into Flickr. And it used to be a pain for me to have to go to Flickr and pull it, download it and then put it into whatever editing program. But this one lets you actually just pull it from wherever it is that you have it. And it does a lot of really, it's like Photoshop, but it's free. Okay, next question.
I was gonna mention, Michelle found one that was called Smooth Draw. That is like a step up from Paint, but it's in between for younger kids.
Smooth Draw.
Smooth Draw, it is a download, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
It's not all.
And we had another question back here. Yes. Yes, you.
Green screen and video. What?
Green screen and video. Does anybody have an answer for that? Because outside of using like Premiere Elements and things like that, I have not tried it.
There is a plug-in.
Go ahead,
No,
plug-in.
if you've got something.
No, you're talking about the plug-in for,
For Movie Maker.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, Movie Maker.
we have Movie Maker, which drives me insane because
Yeah, it
I
drives
want
me
lots of layers because I use Premiere, and which is why we were asking the question about video editors. But there is a plug-in for the older Movie Maker.
And I know
There's
iMovie
a
will do it too.
transition that you can get to do it. It's
Right.
a little tricky.
I like to talk about that plugin because a lot of people are stuck with old PC labs and it'll work with Windows Movie Maker. It uses blue as the chroma key rather than targeting green, that range. iMovie, of course, has been doing it for a while when they were add-ons back in the day. But there's a lot of new stuff. Screen Capture, actually, Web 2.0 free stuff. It's doing chroma key more. And if you just Google
Free chroma key.
Chroma key, free chroma key
Yeah.
editing, that's all anyone does, and then
Yeah,
you can find
it is amazing over the last several years to see that progression. Because when I very first learned how to do green screening, there was very few things that you could do it with, and they all cost money. And now it is a thing that I used to work for Southern Methodist University, and one of the curriculum that we had designed had students programming their own chroma key software so that they could make their own that did whatever it was that they wanted it to do. So we've just come such a long way. Next topic. I appreciate y'all being patient with us, because this on the fly thing is.
Public domain sound files.
Oh. Jamendo, Jamendo. Has anybody heard of that one? Now, I will talk a little bit about one that actually costs money. I know I said that I would not. But if you have a district that is really concerned about copyright-free music, our district actually subscribes to a service called Sounds Abound. Does anybody else subscribe to that? Sounds Abound, and it's not with an, it's Sound Z Abound. Sounds Abound. Sounds Abound actually is a really large library of all different kinds and all different lengths of music, and some of our students actually sit and listen to it like they would their iPod, because some of it's really fresh kind of stuff. But it makes it so that the district actually just pays one fee, and that's the royalties for use for it, for whatever they want to use it for. All we have to do is give in the credits music from Sounds Abound, and that's pretty much it, and like the title of the song. But it makes it so that we can teach copyright, or teach the intellectual property rights to our students while we're doing those projects, because many of our teachers will just say, the music has to come from Sounds Abound, because teachers don't want to have to sit there and figure out whether this music is okay before they post it on the class blog. And the kids are going to say, yeah, I had the rights to it, and the kids all think that if I bought it on iTunes, then I have the right to use it, which is not true. And so Sounds Abound is a paid service that I would suggest. But Jamendo is one that we have found a lot in its ITS when we build our own videos. We find those a lot. And I also find that a lot of the video editing software comes with a lot of free stuff.
Purple Planet also has it, and they have different links.
I
to the
love
songs.
Purple Planet.
Purple Planet.
And Purple Planet I use more in the elementary level too, because it is a little bit more.
Yeah, this one's more, again, I'm secondary. Our secondary kids find things. We had a student that was he is incredible. He makes digital stories out of PowerPoint. I mean, he makes PowerPoint animated stories. They're very awesome. And he made one that was in a Tim Burton-esque kind of a style, and he found music on Jamendo that sounded really similar to the type of music that you hear on a Tim Burton movie.
Do you know how much the Sounds Abound?
I do not, because our district, since we're a one-to-one district, they purchase everything district-wide, so they have to, negotiate those terms. You can visit the website. There's a place to click to purchase an individual, but I don't know how different it is from, like a campus level or whatever.
I do have one to add to that. It's called Sound J, J-A-Y.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
JAY.com?
This one is more of sound effects, so if you need rain and you.
Oh, that's
nice.
awesome. Yeah.
Very nice.
I love that there's not a million ads, but if you just click on any one of those at the bottom, it'll
Oh, that's
you
very
can
cool.
filter down to what exactly you need.
That's very cool.
Nice.
You might also want to teach kids about Creative Commons, which, allows, they have lots of links on creativecommons.org that if they use the right license, then they.
Yeah, and if you go straight to, if you go straight to search.creativecommons.org, it'll actually search Flickr and Google Images and other places. If you check the little box that says, I only want to see the stuff that's okay for me to remix and reuse or whatever. The little caveat there is to make sure to still look. If you find an image on Flickr that says it's Creative Commons through search.creativecommons.org, check to make sure that licensing has not changed, and make sure that you attribute it properly, because that's the other thing, the students just think, okay, I found it here, I can use it, they don't attribute it, you know, and then they've broken the license there.
And you talk about licensing, that's something that you should, that even I teach in my classroom. Like I use picsforlearning.com, which is a great website that has tons of free pictures that are, I actually have broken down by this. Like if I want to search for trains, I can go to trains and it actually has bibliography on there so that way my kids can copy and paste that and learn from the very beginning that even though it's online, they still have to credit where the credit's due.
And that's a slow road. I mean, we've been for a lot of years thinking we can do anything in education. It's going to take a little bit of time.
Can I add a little piece for your, I don't know if you've heard of LibriVox, Librivox, LibriVox. If you Google that, it will take you to this place where it's like Audible, but all free. And it's all public domain books kids can download as MP3s, listen to on devices, and it's all volunteer readers.
Yeah, which I'm a volunteer reader for them.
Are you rock on? And I want kids to do that.
That would be awesome. I thought that too, but if students started doing that reading and understanding why they're doing that reading, it would be a great deal.
That's right.
Well, I use LibriVox because they have lots of different versions of Jabberwocky, and so I can play different versions to my students so they can hear how, when you read something, how it can sound so much different just by your tone.
Thanks,
All right, another topic. I don't know what it is. Another topic.
You have 20 minutes.
Okay.
Cool document management tools on the iPad.
Document management tools for the iPad.
Ooh, that one's, because there's so many things that, it's like I have Google Docs on my iPad and I find it very hard to rummage through. But I know a lot of people use Evernote, which I've kind of gotten into. Dropbox.
I use Dropbox.
I use Dropbox a lot, and that way it's really convenient because if I put it on my iPad, it's also on my computer. You just have to make sure not to delete it in one spot because then it's deleted everywhere until you go back online and undelete it. But I use Dropbox, and I know a lot of people use Evernote.
Well, and nowadays, you know, you said Google Docs is kind of harder to negotiate, but now they've got Google Drive, which I don't know if that's for iPad though. It seems like maybe right now that's just on Android.
Now,
are you?
Well, I guess the question would be, are you trying to get your students' documents to be in one spot? Or, okay, so when I was at ISTE and I saw Kevin's presentation with Tammy, they did a really cool thing where they created like a little Google form, and so the kids had to then input their URL code. And so that way all you were looking at was the URL code from a Google Doc rather than having to go through all the Google Docs, which is very convenient and then put it on the kids to have to do. Which is, I love that
I would think that notebook apps of some kind would be good. Like
LiveBinder?
LiveBinder. Yeah, LiveBinder would be really good.
LiveBinder would be awesome.
Are y'all familiar with LiveBinder?
I do like LiveBinders.
Because they,
When you were talking about sound files too, I was Googling something and came across several LiveBinders where people had created commons, images, sound files and stuff where it was all sort of.
that's a really good point. Anytime that you're looking for something, go to LiveBinders. Somebody has probably made a notebook full of resources for that particular thing.
Why reinvent the wheel?
Yeah, and that's the kind of the deal. One of my big pet peeves, and I hope I'm not stepping on anybody's toes here, but you know, those blog posts that say 323 of the best video editing software. I don't want to sort through 323 of those. I want you to tell me what your top 3 are, or your top 5 are. And a lot of times that's what a LiveBinder is somebody's, here's my top 3 of this, and here's my top 3 of that. So they've already done all that footwork for you. You just have to decide which one of those 3 you're going to use. So LiveBinders is a really good resource for that. And again, my Linkable has links to some LiveBinders. I make LiveBinders all the time for that particular purpose. Usually when I'm doing a presentation, this is a different kind of presentation, but usually my presentations don't involve PowerPoints, they involve my LiveBinder that just gives you all the links that I'm going to be talking about that day. So you can always look at my LiveBinders and find a lot of resources too. Another topic. And it doesn't have to be about media. Yes?
Any good writing apps? I teach high school.
Writing?
Yeah.
Writing apps?
Expression.
Gosh, that one might stun me.
Does it have to be an app?
Have you done paper reader?
paperreader.com? Paperreader.com is you input the text and it gives the students comments and a grade. That they can then,
Paper, like rate, R-A-T-E-R.
paper, P-A-P-E-R-R-A-T-E-R.
Oh, I thought you meant
And you input the text and it gives them comments, suggestions, and a grade. I'm gonna be using it, it won't do it under 6th grade level, you have to be a 9th grade level, to get an actual grade. We import text, and it will do all of the work for them. It'll make suggestions, give them an approximate grade, and, I'm using it as editing, first stop editing.
Now, this one that I have up here isn't necessarily going to be something that's going to be easily like translated into a grade, etc. But I like to use it as a writing prompt for students to kind of get them going. And it's called oneword.com. Every day they have, every time you go there, it has a different word. And so I'm going to click this go, and you have a minute to just write. Once you see the word is stretcher. So I can sit there and I can write for 1 minute. Some people write stories. Some people write the definition of a stretcher. Some people write something completely nonsensical. But it gets them thinking about writing, and it gets them writing. And then after they're done, they can actually see what other people have written. Now that's the thing that makes it not necessarily for elementary, but for secondary, because this is a public website. And so there might be things that are not so appropriate. So my deal whenever I use it in my classroom is I'd go visit it, see what kinds of things are being written at the time, and then I'd go ahead and have my kids do it because I know they're going to be good and write the right stuff. And so it was a really nice, I use it in my personal life, days that I'm waking up and because I write a lot. But there's days that I just get, I got nothing. And so I'll go to one word and I'll sit there and write. Usually it doesn't stop you from writing for longer than a minute. So usually I end up writing like a whole story. So sometimes you'll see my whole story up on one word. Oh, look, it says time's up. I must have waited long. It takes longer than a minute though. So that was cool. Yes? Huh?
I'm saying you use invisible ink.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that one you have to have a special app to read it.
Can I interject one
Uh-huh.
more? Okay. I know you've probably used Wordle quite a bit, but have you ever thought about using Wordle as a self-assessment tool for students in writing?
Yeah.
Let me just go grab some text here. When I have students type their essays, what I see often is, yeah,
I think it's right.
that they seem to repeat themselves over and over again. If you've seen that multiple times, so when I have them paint or paste their stuff in here, if it's going to talk nice, and it makes the word cloud, the words that are showing up the largest, obviously they're using it too often in their vocabulary. So then I have them alphabetize their Wordles when they come out, and then I have them print that off, and they analyze it. So first we have a list of those dead words, just and very and so forth. And so they have that list of dead words. They just grab a highlighter and go through their Wordle to see if those words showed up. That's the first thing we have them do. And then the second one, we circle the words that seem to be large. If your paper is done well with vocabulary, the letters and things should be about the same size, balanced out. But if they show up to be some that are quite larger, then obviously we need to think of better vocabulary. And the students will do that at their rough draft and their second draft. And quite often they'll come back and they'll say, gosh, Miss Smoke, I know that I probably shouldn't use the word very because my vocabulary is much better than that. I know it is, baby. Now I'm going to change it up. So they use that as a self-assessment tool.
It's a good self-assessment. It's also a good, we use it in social studies classrooms for them to compare, say, the speech of Abraham Lincoln and a speech of President Obama. Do they seem to have the same focus? Do they seem to have the same ideals? You know, what is their, or sometimes you might flash one up on the screen as bell ringer.
Right.
And just have them tell me, which president said this? Which president's speech did I just do a Wordle of? Or what book is this a Wordle of? There's all kinds of things you can do with Wordle.
Tuxedo Elaine seems to be shaped.
Tuxedo? And